Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is SloyXP, captions on this video were provided by Liara, and when will my hermits return from the war?
I've been climbing!
I've done a bunch of chores!
As many of you have probably noticed, the traditional Christmas Life series has started up, meaning that a chunk of the cast is currently doing Squid Games. And we avoid covering that on our show because, well, frankly, that would be work. Fear not, even with the most murderous of the bunch on their nice living vacation, there will be no shortage of disastrous consequences as the rest of the gang also realizes that Fire Tick is on. Will they give Doc M the Yavlebokken treatment, or will the Fire Marshal come back in time to stop it? Time will tell, but for now, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with Grian, who has posted a 2-hour-long world tour, which is showing restraint if anything.
We're already 3 episodes in, so you can't expect too much.
Luckily for this show, he starts with his own base, where he made a copper golem circle to help a block of copper oxidize faster, and luckily for me personally, neither the circle nor the obelisk in the middle appear to be doing anything.
Apparently Etho told us that if you put a block of copper, it oxidizes it really, really quickly. Etho wouldn't lie to me, right? Not on his birthday!
Of the starter bases he visits, the highlights certainly are XP Crafted's hexagon octagon cliff is gone.
As I approached, the mountain unloaded. No, it's episode 3, my dude.
Gemini Tay, who in the time Grian was touring the server, has built a second starter base for him to tour.
I've already done your part of the tour.
Part 2?
I knew you left.
And of course Mumbo Jumbo, whom the gang caught AFKing and decided to carefully reposition to one of his mechanical geese in the sky. Hilarious that the real-life Mumbo was also climbing at the time.
Okay, I think we're saying, yeah, I've been climbing, obviously. That's like,
yeah, that's what I do when I'm mortally ill. I go for a climb
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Forgive us for skipping reporting on the rest, it's just that we've been doing exactly that for 4 videos now. Still, it's comforting to know that Grian also can never get a hold of Zedaf, and he hasn't just been ignoring our Discord messages specifically.
We're definitely not going to be able to get hold of Zed, he's just not here.
Zedaf does return to the server this week to achieve something that maybe should never have been attempted. That's right, it's time for more Zedvancement, and this time the man has his eyes set on fully repairing a broken elytra while mid-air.
Finally, I found some. Oh, thank goodness for that. Come here, you. Cheers for the wings, Tango.
Yeah.
This is quite the feat, given that a falling anvil cannot be interacted with, and a fully broken elytra has a tendency to kill the owner. So you'll be intrigued to find out that while the mending enchantment is certainly the way to go, bottles of enchanting are not so much as mentioned during the entire video. They're not any good for that, mind you, but still. Of all the Minecrafters who tried to forget that the XP bottles of disappointment even exist, Zedaf seems to be the one to have done it.
And then you just end up doing this. Ding, 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 like that for ages and ages. It's still not going, and...
As his server mates figure out weirder ways to service their wings, Azuma Void goes out into the end to gather spare elytra for everyone. But no amount of flight will save them from Minecraft respawning people in the bedrock. It turns out the nether spawn point has really disagreed with the server software, and people keep being put into the bottom of the world whenever they die. To help with the situation, Azuma adds a command block at the sweet spot that purposefully teleports you up to where you're supposed to be. He then proceeds to abuse that mechanic by also abusing Rendog, only to discover that if the game sees that there are blocks in the way, it will look for a valid teleportation spot higher than that, or at least it does the way they've set it up on the server.
Hey, I'm on the nether roof.
Oh my god. Good luck getting out.
This means that the gang has successfully recreated the Squilly glitch, a similar tech that obstructed the bed of a player just right for the game to start putting them upstairs, that has been removed back in 1.21 or so. Close enough. Welcome back, prison community. On the command front, Azuma also mentions that the server will be introducing a data pack that lets them keep a creature in its baby form forever by renaming it with a specific name tag. This is not really game-breaking, but does allow for fun pathfinding tricks where a baby animal will follow the adults around. And on the prison front, Azuma forgot that copper golems can open doors, so naturally, multiple of his robot miners have staged a very literal walkout. He then duct taped one to a bee to have both of them tending the crops.
Yeah, our copper golem has a companion, and it's one of the cutest and most adorable things you can find in this game.
Somehow, this is still kinder than Keralis throwing all of his copper friends into a pit from whence they try to climb using each other's corpses. Makes sense, the mob's pathfinding being what it is. Once one of the guys becomes a block, the rest will try to stand on him. But given plenty of oxidizing time, the whole bunch actually successfully executes a cheerleader pyramid. Luckily, Keralis also does intentional building as well. Expanding his ancient Rome villa, he replaces the tree in the inner yard to one providing more shade, and breaks out flowering azalea to represent rows and rows of great plants, so the vine seller can have something to store beside the nether portal.
Might not be the best placement for it, but I will have my storage somewhere over here.
Also of note, he drops off a silence armor trim for XP crafted, but makes sure that the chest with it looks like a pipe bomb.
Trap chest, just a real concrete block over here, because we know XP is going to be going around like this, being auspicious, because that's just an XP thing to do.
There are at least explosive rectangles in this game for sure, so Dread Pirate Ijevin goes off to the high seas and builds up a creeper farm there. This is of course the usual quadruple creeper horrifier we know and love from Jevin's previous seasons, but this time he airlifts all the cats for it using a happy ghast while dressed in a Christmas sweater. Entirely not how Santa's flying sled is meant to work, but he's got the spirit.
Oh my god, this is so stupid. It's not stupid if it works, just a friendly reminder, by the way.
But as far as explosive monsters go, you really can't beat the Wither, except you totally can, that's why it's got a health bar.
The fox is going home with us, unless it dies in the blast of the wither, of
We'll
course.
put it in the boat. It will sit in the boat.
False Symmetry stages an experiment to mess up one of these using a mace. With the bonus damage from the fall distance, it's pretty easy to take out most, if not all, of the animal in one swing. So you guessed correctly, False misses not just the initial hit, but also the test hit on Rendog. She gets either on the second try, don't worry about it.
This does not bode well for the wither.
This doesn't. It doesn't, no.
No. Wait, wither?
More in the idea of barbaric overkill, False actually builds a moss farm in the depths of her starter base, so she can continue recoloring the terrain around it, and also gets a steady income of bone meal. But the real overkill here is the sheer number of circular and tubular elements in the terraforming itself.
I really like it. It gives me like a video game vibe.
Right? I said that in my video, funnily enough, but then everyone was like, you're playing a video game. And I'm like...
It gives a kind of volcanic look for the custom biome, and just really puts the round in the ground. Unlike XP Crafted, who puts this mountain in the ground. Or takes it out of the ground. He puts it in chests, really. And from what we've heard, he's basically done doing that now. At this point, he's also dug through, in places, to the reason he didn't just move his base idea somewhere else, the epic cave below the hill, which so far has made several hermits go, huh, yeah, I can see why you broke 450,000 stone now.
And so the cave will be tied into the build. You can take shulkers. I just ask that you bring the shulker, like the actual shulker, back when you're done with it.
If I need it, but I think this will get me started. I'm just covering a river.
At this point, he's done so much hard work that his life is flashing before his eyes, via the magic of editing. And it seems like his entire life is things that happened to him while he was digging this mountain. Although he gets to watch a different but also quite satisfying approach to mountain destruction as Etho blows up bits of the terrain for Tango.
There! That's kind of cool.
We're not sure how the server's fire marshal feels about explosives, but at least the TNT is being lit responsibly. Unlike when MacLeod comes to visit Pearlescent Moon armed with more flint and steels than I heard yelled out loud during my screening of the Minecraft movie.
Not my tree!
Yeah, that's right.
Is this the... You have 5? What is wrong with you?
Pearl responds by emergency fireproofing all the equipment she can, which once again involves her going to the fieriest place on the server, the depths of the Nether, looking for ancient debris, which she also doesn't use TNT for. She just sets a timer and gets digging. Although she does have to raid a Piglin Bastion later to get the upgrade template, and apparently turns up just in time for Piglin choir practice.
Are you okay? What are you all doing?
When it comes to fireproofing the server, she settles for spamming lightning rods wherever they're needed, and many places where they're just fun to have around. The fire truck pulls up at Scar's base to assess the fires springing up from his Space Dinosaur TM, but when Scar questions why she didn't just put the fire out right away, this kicks off a feud that may have started more fires. Leave your best Billy Joel parody lyrics in the comments.
Well, this is the second time somebody's nabbed my robot. You two, my sheriff posse. Attack!
You've done so much damage. Good job.
Joe Hills may be counting on the Potato Palapa being the hottest spot north of Havana, but he didn't mean that literally.
Excellent. 1 diamond per stack. We got plenty.
With Carbon Scar lingering around the pier and stress testing the fire service response, it's no wonder Joe is considering building a series of water dispensers into the design of his Art Deco theatre facade. In the process, the crew does notice that leaf litter is quite flammable, so if you ever wanted to build a fast-burning TNT fuse, you could do worse. And Joe may have contributed even more to the server's arsonist agenda when he suggests in plain hearing of several armor stand aficionados that one could, theoretically, swap a lightning rod for an armor stand holding a lightning rod. And he notably doesn't say that in front of Pearl when she's suggesting how he could avoid his pier burning down.
I mean, in theory, I could waterlog every single one of them the way you just did, but they're going to be really visibly waterlogged.
Normally, you'd expect the stereotypical firefighter responsibilities to include getting cats down from trees. But what if you had a 4-meter marshmallow which made cat noises, but you wanted to get it into a robot? Okay, I'll admit it's a pretty forced segue, but it's okay because Rendog's lore will make up for any clumsy writing on our part. Not only has he decided on a name for his magical city and expanded on the role of the arcane side to include mechanisms, but he comes up with effectively a creation myth for the robotic structure that conceals his iron farm. And then, with Pearl's help, he puts a ghast in it. Close enough. Welcome back, Biffa 2001.
Yay!
Either that, or we're pretty sure that this is what Azuma's Minecraft skin is going to look like later this season. While Ren is having a hard time squeezing a ghast into a Gundam, BOO is trying to squeeze all his possessions into a cellar. The space is dug out below his starter tower, and after a montage of decoration for both the basement and the ground floor, he activates his Golem workforce, who immediately unionize.
No! Stay on your level. What an awful, awful son. An awful son you are. Now,
it's not the only resistance he meets, as he fulfills his goal to be more mean this season by taking revenge on Good Times with Scar. B-Dubs still holds a grudge from Scar killing his beloved Day 1 horse back in Hermitcraft Season 9, and Miyamore is avenged by the shock killing of Scar's horse, Pudding.
Now you know! Now you know how it feels to lose a Day 1 horse!
Notably, this is around the same time B-Dubs resolves to go to the Nether so he can start brewing fire resistance potions, and we can't help but wonder if he's expecting his own horse to be set ablaze, or if it's because everything else on the server is. At least his copper children won't be melted down, as long as they can learn where to sort all his items.
Yeah! Minecraft is working. What are you taking that, though?
Impulse SV is one of the few hermits who don't go the copper golem route for multi-item sorting. But then again, he has a long-standing friendship with Mizuma Games, whose sorting systems have featured in many of Impulse's previous bases. And this is no exception. A huge chamber fills up with storage for all kinds of blocks, once Impulse can be bothered to program the filters, anyway.
So I will get after that in between episodes, I suppose. Oh, this makes me so happy.
His storage problem wasn't as bad as all that, considering he's got enough shulker shells to supply basically the entire server, and that's with most of them being claimed by Etho. After some impromptu trades with XP Crafted and Corrales, Impulse heads to the shopping district to sell dirt cheap self-storage, and happily offers Etho a season's supply of boxes in exchange for a season's supply of beacons. We'd assume he wanted to keep some for himself after digging all that stone, but as we learn from his quick game of stat poker with XP Crafted, these might be rookie numbers.
Okay, so here's the thing. I had a beacon, Tango took it. So I took Skiz's beacon while he was out of town. Skiz came back in town, so I gave him his beacon back. I need more beacons, man. I want, like, all the effects.
DocM77 has traded one target for another, after a week where his time online rarely overlapped with Good Times with Scar. He did manage to bamboozle Scar live on stream, but for various reasons it's hard to be mean to a guy who's busy organising the server's next charity event. The main reason being, he's not online as much.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it right now!
Oh, who is it? Who is it?
So Doc turned back to terraforming and building the now server-mandated bridge between his terrain pieces before setting his sights on Skizzleman for the crime of assisting Scar, and an Iron Golem, in dispatching his Iron Farm zombie. Doc tricks Skiz into giving him an arrow under the false pretenses of it being lag testing, then commences to deliver an evil laugh and a world of hurt. Which might explain why there isn't a Skiz episode this week, as he was too occupied by Doc's death loop and probably needed to lie down and recover afterwards.
Dude, What is that voodoo? That is insane.
I'm sorry,
How in
man.
the world that's got to be the arrow, I assume.
What?
Doc does debrief with his latest test subject, though, and even adds that the machine can farm resin for him now. And finally, there's Mumbo, who has redesigned his windmills just in time for the server to reach a crucial innovation point on bridges.
Oh gosh! I might have to bring back the old sports horse resource pack.
Grian swings by to connect Mumbo's farm to the opposite cliff face using a series of jump platforms only a super donkey would be able to use, thus fulfilling Etho's prophetic vision of the dystopian future where parkour is mandatory. Mumbo goes the opposite way, carving himself a new workshop space into the cliff below his farm, and is only slightly distracted by the opportunity to drop a whole lot of poultry on Good Times with Scar.
This is the stupidest looking thing. When if you're in F5 mode, it looks so ridiculous.
But his journey through buildstone animation continues with a little armor stand trickery that allows him to make something that looks like a functional conveyor belt. Close enough. Welcome back, Create Mod. And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LaudividniYT, and my name is Pixel Riffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you don't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.